We are also going live on YouTube. Okay guys, Danny's Fees, Clean and Delicious. We are doing the double live, okay? I said I was gonna only do YouTube this week, but we are trying to get super tech savvy, okay? So we're going both and we're gonna see how it goes. So with Easter right around the corner, I wanted to share a sweet, delicious treat that is also fuel food, meaning it still feeds the body and it's good for you and it's not just processed junk. So I'm going to show you guys how to make my no-bake carrot cake energy balls / protein bites, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to go about make them, but I'm telling you they are delicious. They taste just like carrot cake and they're really easy to make and they're good for lunch boxes, breakfast on the go, quick afternoon snack, works for all of those things, okay? So we are going to get started and as you guys tune in, say hello, let me know who's watching, let me know where you're watching from, and we'll get this party started. Okay.
Kishan is from India saying hello on YouTube.
Awesome. Okay guys, so this recipe is basically made out of some almond butter, some oats, and raisins and nuts and coconut. So it's all real whole food ingredients and the flavor mimics carrot cake because of the spices we're gonna be using. And we throw some fresh carrots in. So you are gonna need a mini food processor like I have right here, okay? And then this is really just like a dump and stir type of recipe. So what I'm gonna do is start off with a 1/4 cup of creamy roasted almond butter. If you like salted, you can use salted. If you don't, you don't have to. If you have a nut allergy or you do not do nuts, or if you go to a school that doesn't allow nuts, you could do sunflower butter, and it will work perfectly fine. It's only a little bit we're using, just a 1/4 cup, so you don't have to worry too much about which butter you use. You could use almond, peanut butter. Again, if you have allergies, the sunflower butter. Okay, and then I'm adding in a 1/2 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. Okay, and now here's where they become protein balls. I'm adding 1 scoop, which is 30 grams of vanilla whey protein powder. Now, I know not everybody is into the protein powder thing, so whoops, I am gonna give you an alternative. If you do not want to use protein powder, if you don't keep it in the house or you don't like to cook with it, then what you could do is sub in an extra 1/4 to 1/3 cup of the rolled oats, okay? So you have an option. You get a little extra boost of protein with the protein powder, but if you don't want it, don't need it, don't use it, just go for the extra rolled oats, okay? Then we're gonna add in just 1 teaspoon of honey. You could also do maple syrup here. If you like to do like stevia, that could work here, except the only hang up is the honey or the maple syrup does help these suckers to bind together. So you might have to play with the measurements a little bit.
I got a question. What kind of protein powder do you use?
Okay, so I use a variety of protein powders, but I have to say from a flavor perspective, I prefer whey protein, and the brand that I've been using for a while now is J-Rob. So it doesn't have any of the RBGH, those hormones in it, and it's a really clean protein powder. The ingredient list is short, so I'm a big fan of this one, but there's a few good ones out on the market. I will say when it comes to recipes like this, the plant-based protein powders, they're a little more powdery, so they don't tend to taste as good, but if you don't do whey, you can definitely sub in a plant-based protein powder. Okay.
Could you use dates to sweeten it too?
Yeah, well, you're gonna see we're gonna put some raisins in there and that's gonna add a little sweetener and also helps it to stick together. So if you didn't wanna do the honey, you could do a little extra raisin, but at the end of the day, they're both sugar, right? So you're both gonna get a little bit of sweetness from them. Okay, so from there, guys, I have just a 1/4 cup of shredded carrots. And the way I shred up my carrots is with just like you're peeling a potato. So you want this little tool here to buy it for just a few bucks, right? And then you're just gonna come down and make little shreds. And then you just add those in. So that's gonna give a nice texture. And you know what? The carrot adds a little bit of sweetness too. Okay, so that's that. Then we have our spices. And this part is really what gives it the flavor of carrot cake. So you don't wanna leave the spices out. I have about a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground ginger. And then I do a little bit of fresh nutmeg. I find that nutmeg is one of those spices that when you buy it pre-ground, it just doesn't have the same oomph. So I like to buy the little nutmeg balls and then just grate them myself. And you just need a few runs across because we're only looking for about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Nutmeg is super strong. And remember guys, nutmeg is also a great little surprise ingredient to add to your leafy greens. Like if you're doing sauteed kale or spinach, a little bit of nutmeg with the garlic always is like that surprise yum factor. Okay, now we're doing 2 tablespoons of shredded coconut. This again, it gives it that carrot cake look because it gives a little white specks in there. 2 tablespoons of walnuts. You could also do pecans, you could do almonds, but I like the walnuts because that's when I'm eating carrot cake, I like walnuts in my carrot cake.
Can you skip the coconut?
Absolutely. You guys make this work for you. If you don't like the coconut, just leave it out. Maybe do a little extra raisin or a little extra walnut, but you can definitely be flexible with this and find a way to make it work with what you have on hand, 100%. Okay, and then the raisins, okay? So everything is in.
The nutmeg, how do you keep it? You just leave it, you leave it out, right?
I leave it right in the container that it comes in. If you stay right there, I'll grab it. Oh, no, I don't. Yeah, just in a spice container, guys.
Yeah, it comes in like a little spice jar.
It comes in like a spice jar. This isn't nutmeg, but it comes in a spice jar just like this, in a glass jar. I store it in room temperature with all my other spices, and then you just take the ball out when you're ready to use it and you grate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm putting the lid on. Get ready, guys. I'm gonna pulse it a few times and show you what you want this to look like. Bear with me. All right. Okay, now while this is in the food processor, I'm gonna let it go another minute. It's gonna look like sand. It's not gonna come together, but I'm gonna show you what to do. I'm gonna give it a few more goes and then we'll chat. Okay, come take a look at what it's gonna look like. All right, see, it almost looks like sand. It hasn't exactly come together and it's not going to, okay? So then I like to transfer it into a bowl like this. In you go. And we're gonna form balls. Before I do that, I saw somebody ask me if I know the calories and the carbs and all that jazz. First, I wanna tell you guys, I personally am not a calorie counter, but I know that some of you like to track your calories and your macros, so you know what? I got your back. So these made the way I'm showing you right now, they mix 10 balls. Each ball has 95 calories, 5 grams of fat, 8.3 grams of carbs, almost 2 grams of fiber, and 5.5 grams of protein. Now, if you swapped the protein powder and you put the extra oats, then you're dropping down to 3 grams of protein and the carbs jump up to 9.5, okay? So there's your stats.
Could you grind it up in a blender as well? Does that work?
If you have a good high power blender, yes, you can. I know a lot of people say you can swap food processors for blenders, but I have to say personally, a lot of recipes I try like that, I find that there's more struggle with the blender. So I prefer the food processor, but if you only have the blender, you could make it work. You're probably gonna have to work it a little bit, you know, like scrape down the sides, make sure it's not getting stuck,
right.
That kind of thing. Okay. All right, guys, so from here, what you're gonna do is you take about a tablespoon and you'll see once you squish it in your palm, it sticks together. And of course, if you found, my almond butter was at the bottom of the barrel, so it wasn't as sticky. But see, it turns right into a ball. Now I want to tell you guys, if it feels a little dry or you feel like you're having a hard time making a ball, no big deal. You could add another extra tablespoon of almond butter, or you could add a little extra honey. Either one of those are going to help to bind it together. Probably I would go almond butter myself. I think the flavor would be better. Okay, and then what I do is I have my rimmed baking sheet lined with a little bit of parchment paper, and I would form all of these into balls, and then all you have to do is put them in the refrigerator for an hour or so, and they set up, and then I just transfer them into an airtight container, and I leave them in the fridge. And honestly, they'll easily last you a week. Each recipe only makes 10 balls, so like for us, they don't even get close to a week. I think we made 20 of them like 2 days ago, and we're down to about 5.
Since you're not breaking it, can you really put them in any other shape where the ball is all that it can really hold?
Absolutely. You know what these are kind of like, guys? Lara bars, right?
Lara
bars, right? Where they're really, it's like dried fruit and nuts. That's the base of what's holding them together. If you wanted to, you could put them into a bar and then cut them into like little squares. 100% you could do that.
Thank you, What Miss Mary Eats. She just put all the ingredients on.
Thank you, Miss Mary Eats. So that's the way you're gonna go until you've finished it all. And then let me show you what they look like when they're done. Okay, so those are the ones I'm rolling. These are ones that I just took out of the refrigerator. Okay.
You could do these with or without protein powder. Did you say that?
Yeah, I told them exactly how to do that, and I gave them the measurements. If you were like serving these to somebody, another thing you could do like at the end, if you just wanted that extra pretty, is dip them in the coconut flakes, because you know what it looks like? It looks like cream cheese icing, and so it's just pretty for presentation. For me at home, I don't bother with that because I'm just gonna eat them myself. I put it in the mix. But if you're going for presentation, a little dip of the coconut, shredded coconut at the end is gonna give you the look of the cream cheese icing. So very cool and very pretty. Okay, so that is the base recipe, guys. For those of you ready to go and say goodbye, you got all the facts there. I'm gonna look at some of the comments and try to answer a few before we hang up, if you will. Can you use Kaza? Kaza wants to know, can you use the flavored protein powder? Of course you can. You're gonna change, this is vanilla protein powder. You can definitely, which I think is the best flavor to make a carrot cake flavored protein ball. But if you wanted to do chocolate or strawberry or any flavor you want, go for it. It's obviously gonna affect the end results, but it'll certainly work. Okay, let's see. What's the number you could eat in a day? Well, here's the deal. Your body is going to provide that information for you, but for me, when I eat them, I'll usually have them as like a snack or something on the go. I'll usually have 2 or 3. Think they're like 100 calories each, so it's like a 200 or 300 calorie snack or mini meal, depending on how you use it in your day. They're also great for any of your moms out there who have kids, lunch boxes. They're great thrown in a lunchbox. Great for playgrounds after school because they're super portable. What if I don't want the protein? Can I sub something else? Yes, I showed that at the beginning of the video. So if you go back and watch the beginning, I show you exactly how to take the protein powder out. You just add some extra oats. So add an extra 1/3 of a cup or so of the rolled oats, and you don't need to use the protein powder. They're still delicious. Anybody? Let me bump over to Facebook over here and see if I can get some of your questions, guys, and then we will call it a day.
Yeah, you could sub the honey with pretty much any other sweetener you like.
Maple syrup. You can do maple syrup. You can do, oh, hi Tamara, she's late. That's okay, we're happy you're here.
Danny likes the J. Rob brand of protein.
Yep, I like J. Rob protein. So if you guys, those of you tuning in late, if you go back and watch it from the beginning, a lot of these questions have already been answered. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you tune in on Monday. We're gonna have a brand new video for you guys, and we're gonna be doing these every single Friday lives. The time is gonna probably vary a little. I'll keep you posted on what the time is. If you're not already subscribed, go over to my website, cleananddelicious.com, and get on my newsletter, because that is where I send out all the info on what time we're gonna be doing this stuff, and I really want you guys to know because I wanna have you here with me, okay? So thank you so much for joining. I will see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers. It's like carrot cake, but in a protein ball.
Yummy.
That is delicious.